song. That's a song playing in the background. In post.
What song did you guys use?
We have a theme song. Did we start?
Did you guys make it?
Yeah, we made the song. I think the episode started already? No introduction? Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Searching for McGuffin with your hosts,
George,
Gabe,
Jonatan,
Lit,
and yes, we have a theme song.
My name is Jonatan, but I identify as Link.
Oh, that's fair.
Somebody has to.
Where is that guy anyways? Yes, we did. If it made it to the beginning of this episode, I'm not sure where the audio kicks in, but
yeah, I'm gonna make him have it overlaid so that you can be talking about it while it's playing.
Yeah, there's a.
That's cool.
We have a theme song. Yeah,
we have a theme song from an Argentinian music producer that I call Cantias or Carnitas.
You call Carnitas, and I call.
Okay,
him.
As long as it's not AI.
No, it's not. No, I said I said someone made it. An artist. We compensated an artist in a South American country.
But it was but it's.
We're not part of the problem.
But no. But you
Depends
chose the second worst thing in Argentina.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah. So we did.
They're the Argentinians.
Yeah. So yes, that's the original
It's
theme
a joke.
that
It's
you
all.
heard at the beginning of this episode.
Awesome.
Not you specifically.
Yeah.
Because our audience did. Okay. Anyways, welcome back to week 2 as we continue to explore the topic of animation. We've got our guest Jonatan here to discuss the industry. We're going to pick up the conversation right where we left off, unless anyone has any.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, you mentioned
It's been 7 days.
That's right. We've been sitting here waiting for the next episode to release.
I've just been staring at the camera the whole time.
Yep, we tend to do that on the show. We finished talking about some of the challenges last week. This week, I want to talk about how you balance in the industry the challenges, or rather, technique versus creativity. Meaning, there's things you have to do in order to get the job done, meeting these demands, time, money, etc. And then there's decisions you want to make from a creative perspective. Where do you find that balance between those two?
Who wins out normally?
You know, it's obviously it's based on the project, but also I'm blessed with a wonderful business partner because my business partner Thiago, excuse me,
I'm getting choked up about it.
Yeah, wow,
No.
you're really emotional.
no,
Tiago, thank you so much. You've
You need
changed
more
this
water?
man's life.
no, it's fine. I just had to clear my throat.
Go
Anyways,
on.
I have a great business partner because what me and Thiago, we've known each other since college. That's where we met, and we've in animation, especially doing animation in Miami, is extremely difficult because there's like no industry here.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since the film industry's been taken out because of the lack of incentives stuff many years back. So
Yes.
our wonderful, senators and governors.
Mm-hmm.
We realized
We try not to get political about how our current administrations
no, this is like 15 years ago.
by taking away all possible funding for the arts and entertainment throughout the state, basically
Yeah.
destabilizing entire industries. We try not to
Yeah.
get into details. of
Even
that.
though it's only
Good to know. Good to know. We don't get
even though it's only one.
This
Even
is
though
a neutral show.
even though the budgeting for the arts was only 1.4% of the whole budget of
Yeah.
Florida. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
Exactly.
So, we every time, like throughout different companies, throughout different things, we would always, whenever we needed extra hands or extra artists or animators, we would always call each other because we were either the two dumbest or smartest people to keep doing animation here. We'll find out depending on the success of our business.
Right.
But what makes us work very well together is that we kind of have a yin and yang effect. That's what it is. We have a yin and yang. I am a more technical person. I'm more of a technical artist, and that's what I do. Rigs and scripts and all this. But I also do a lot of animation. The thing is that I tend to second guess myself or question some of my creative decisions.
As we all do.
Yes. But Thiago is very confident with the design choices he makes, the color palette. So
Can't relate.
So he kind of helps balance out the lack my my insecurities
Mhm.
in the creative side, but he understands the technical stuff, but he's not a very technical savvy individual.
Got it.
He's one of those that just nothing is greater than an NES and a Super Nintendo. So he doesn't even play modern games. He still plays on his CRT, all his old games.
Respect.
Like he just
Yeah.
doesn't.
Mad respect.
He doesn't care about technology and that. So, but he understands it, right? So, because of that, we work very well because I let him be the creative lead and I end up being the technical lead. And since we understand the bridge between those two quite well, we can execute things more efficiently.
So did you say a good team essential to that
Yes.
process?
A good partner.
100%. You always have to always work with artists that cover your weak spots.
Yeah.
And are with you through thick and thin.
Yep, 100%. And treat them as if they're a part of your family.
Right. Value.
Very
That
important.
is true. I think throughout the years since you've had this friendship with him, I can tell he's someone that's you appreciate him very much, and you've always made it out, even like obviously to us.
I mean, yeah, you saw how choked
Yeah.
up he got just
I
talking
know.
about it.
But it seems like you guys do have a good, obviously, friendship, but a good working relationship as
Yes.
well.
Yeah, and that's needed, especially running a company such as ours. And and it works well. For example, I'll give you an example. The project that we did for Noggin, we did a mini series of 6 episodes, and it was called Pop-Up Problem Solvers. It had characters from Blue's Clues, from Paw Patrol, from
Peppa the Pig?
no, not Peppa the Pig.
That car show, the car one.
The car show, yeah.
The Bat Car?
I thought you would fill in that blank there.
The Bat Car show? Hot Wheels?
no,
No. Oh, that's the job you really want, man.
Oh, you
gotta
should
get-
watch that.
You
Have
gotta
you
get on
seen
that
that?
Batwheel
I heard
show.
about that. I heard about that 3D Hot Wheels show.
Yeah, you gotta watch Batwheels.
No,
man.
it's the Monster Machines.
Monster. Yeah. Okay.
Monster Trucks?
I don't have kids. I'm not.
It's okay.
Carritos.
Yeah, they're that,
Carritos.
that project's not paying you anymore. You can just delete
Yeah.
it from your
Well,
mind.
Noggin doesn't exist anymore. They
Yeah,
all got fired and
exactly.
closed down.
Rip
last year.
Noggin.
Yep, Rip Noggin for real.
Some of those shorts you can find on YouTube, I believe, right? I think I've
There's
seen
like
some
one.
of them.
There's about like 1 or 2 you can watch.
Yeah.
The rest are on the Noggin app if it still exists.
Wait, so you
I
don't
don't think
have
it
any of that
exists.
stuff?
Yeah.
I still have.
Yeah,
them.
okay,
I still have my stuff. I have all my things on my server.
But like the question is where can like a
Oh,
consumer go out and
You should
watch
be able to watch. A consumer can watch on Amazon Prime. You can buy it at Amazon.
Oh,
Prime.
you can okay.
How many
It's-
drives do you have of your work throughout the years that you've collected?
I had because a lot of them have died.
So you just lost
Before
that work?
I've lost a lot of
Before
things.
Solid Slate.
Yeah, well, we still use regular drives. It's just in our NAS for our
Right.
projects. Since we started the studio, we haven't lost anything. But our own personal stuff from back then, like when I did stuff for Disney and I did other projects
And like school
for the
stuff and all
yeah, all that stuff is gone. But we have about like right now because we just started. I mean, in securing everything and stuff, we have about like 16 terabytes.
And that's like on multiple drives or just...
Yeah, it's across the mode. Yeah, we have our own. We have a server drive, like a server that holds all of our stuff.
Nice.
And then what we do is
So
at
it's
the
just
end
like
of
all
the
stacked like on top of each
yeah.
other.
Well, we have and then what we do is that we have our projects on cloud. Our current running project, we have it on the cloud, and then we use Google for the cloud. And then what we would do is that once we're done, we archive. We'll get all the project files. We'll archive it, and then we'll put it, and we'll keep it in our archive folder in our servers.
The project files, you keep them?
Yeah, we keep all our project files.
Because all I'm picturing is like those server rooms in those movies where people have to sneak in through like those security measures and protections and then have to hack into the system.
Like where I have
I mean, we're not that big yet, so I
Yet.
don't think we have. We need that.
okay, like that room where I have all those students just grinding battle passes and Rocket League passes like that. That server room.
Yes.
He has a data farm, a gaming farm.
That's what it
Gaming
is. A
farm.
data farm. It's a gaming farm. Yeah.
So anyway, as I was saying, so when we did that, so the reason they reached out to us is because we were already working on some stuff with Paramount. So someone in Paramount, one of the execs, gave them our information, and they were like, "We want to do a pop-up book, and just with these characters, tell you these kid stories, how to.
So that was their pitch.
Yeah.
'Cause that's actually a pretty
Yeah.
good idea.
So they're like, oh, we want to do, and this is a internal project that they wanted to produce, right?
Mhm.
And they're like, we want to have a lesson of like how to say, like how to like forgive and how to like, say thank you, or how to say sorry, things like that. Things that adults don't do anymore.
Yeah.
Those things. Yeah.
And actually, they don't even make content
How to
like that
compromise.
much anymore. Because I remember learning, ironically, and I'm not saying this is good or bad, but learning a lot of my morality from television growing up. Because they used to learn when you would watch these shows. And a lot of these shows nowadays for this generation coming up, like I have a little niece, and I see some of the shows. It's like it's very entertainment based and not so much like teaching lessons like that.
Yeah. That's why Blue is awesome.
Yeah, and I learned a lot watching your shorts from the Nagas once because I forgot that Blue was a girl. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Blue and Magenta, they're both.
Yeah, Blue and Magenta are both girls. I don't know why. As an adult, I had believed that.
Like from Blue's Clues?
Yeah, Blue growing up, I thought he was a boy.
Blue's a girl?
She was yeah.
Yeah, Blue's a girl.
Huh.
Yo, get out of your toxic masculinity, man.
That is
Blue
yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean it's a boy.
I mean, as a little kid, the
There's a
toxic
blue-
masculinity was just rampant.
It's you have to break out of your binary way of thinking. Because there was a blue dog and there was a pink dog. My assumption was that they
Boy
were
and girl.
yeah,
No,
boy
they're
and girl.
both girls.
Yeah, they're both girls.
Huh.
Blue is a girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
You might have just changed the outlook, the course of my life.
I'm pretty sure there's audience members right now who are like, no way.
Their jaws are on the floor.
They're Wikipediaing, they're Googling it right now. They're
No,
asking
just
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
There you go. They're putting it in TikTok. No, actually, by the time this episode drops, there may or may not still be TikTok.
all right. Let's
All right,
get
so-
to that. Wait, you're not done with your story.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Let's just talk about the ever-facing evil of
Oh,
AI.
Oh, yeah.
okay. So that is the next one. As soon as
Yeah.
the story's done, that's what we'll
So I'll give you an example of like the whole art and technical, right? So basically what happened was that they're like, we want to do this. We have this children's book type pop-up book, zoom in, all that stuff, right? And we're like, we don't know how to do that. Like, we're like, that sounds like some 3D stuff, but you guys wanted 2D. Oh, my business partner just goes, yeah, all right, cool. Give us a
Yeah.
month and we'll give you something. We'll
Yeah,
give
we
you some
can do
Just
tests.
say yes. Just
We'll
say
give you
yes.
some tests.
Fake it till you make it. Because
And
like
then-
you said, nobody else knows what
And
they're
then
doing.
and then when after the call, he goes, "Good luck. Let me know how it goes." And I'm like, "Great, thanks, man."
I mean, that's how you get those
So-
opportunities.
Because he's confident, not just in his own work, but he's
Exactly.
confident in your work too.
Exactly.
You'll figure this out.
So he's like, "No, you can figure it
You
out."
got it, pal.
Because the way we were doing it, was like the way we were gonna do it, we were thinking, "Oh, we could do this, and then we could do it in post and stuff like that." I'm like, man, this was like a pain to just like so much labor work required. How can I reduce? Bill Gates has it right where he says the best thing to do is hire lazy people because they'll find the most efficient way to solve a problem. So what I did is I'm like, all right, cool, let me research. And I was looking through it. I was like, okay, we animated in Toon Boom. We need these 3D stuff. So we gotta use a 3D program. We use Blender, so we don't have to pay for anything, which is fine. But how am I supposed to get these 2D elements to come in 3D? That's not sprites because they need to have They need to have shadows. They need to have volume because they're supposed to be like cardboard, right?
Technical
So that the
aspects.
edges and stuff. And I was looking up. I was doing some research, and I bumped into
Yep.
this studio in Canada called ED Films, and they are awesome because
Shout out
they-
ED Films.
ED Films they created a plugin for Photoshop that would export frames into 3D meshes. And
I know
yes,
exactly what you're talking
the flat
about.
3D meshes,
That makes
but
sense.
I could still work with that because it will give me it would literally give me the vector like the whole
It takes the part that you don't know out of it.
exactly.
And
Like,
how did you find this?
I was just searching online, looking for
Just
plugins,
Google.
trying to see if there's a way to do it. And then it originally was because it was an animator from that boutique, from that animation boutique over there, from that film boutique over there, that he would do the stuff in After Effects, but then he wanted to use 3D, like a 3D program. So he created this plugin. So I'm like, awesome. I got a hold of them. I'm like, hey, I don't know if you guys are still selling this. You guys don't have you guys, it doesn't look like I can purchase it, but you guys have it. Is there a way I can like
Acquire.
acquire this tool from you guys. And they're like, yeah, sure. We talked. We've had a relationship with them since. We still work with them. We give them feedback with some of the tools. They're great. They're great
That's
people
awesome.
to be
Shout
with.
out Canada.
So yeah,
And
Canadians
what
are awesome.
do you know what EDF stands for? Or?
ED? I don't know what
Is
ED.
the D dairy?
D dot.
Oh, is D for dairy because of the cows? Or?
No.
Okay.
So what happened was
No
that
cowbell.
between that plugin, so that was the bridge between my 2D software and my 3D software. I was able to create scripts, and I was able to build out my own like tools in the 3D software to alleviate a lot of the manual work. So I would do it manually and be like, got it, that's what I need to do. And then I'd code that. I'd get what I would do, and then I'd do it in code to automate. Actually, I even did automation tools I even made automation tools in Photoshop so I could export faster too.
Is
so
that something that you learned while being to be an animator, like in school, about like coding? And
Is this stuff that you had to learn like during your like progression of your career?
Yeah, it's as an animator, as a creator.
No, I mean like
things,
I'm like a stock
only
animator
way-
at
I don't
school.
think he learned that in school.
That's what I'm saying, like,
no, my school was crap. That's why they got sued and I got my student loans discharged. Yeah, screw you, AI.
Okay, but what I'm saying is,
Oh, AI is the name of your school.
Yeah. Yeah.
it
levels.
is evil.
There's
It all-
levels to this.
It all comes together.
So-
the evils of
No,
AI.
so what?
I
So
was like, he's just burying AI
schooling,
again.
look, animation, you don't need schooling. Though, this is the way schooling benefits certain people that are getting into animation.
Mhm.
School, I believe that school, when it comes to art, is for those that cannot self-drive themselves to learn the basics and certain
The people that need
things.
structure.
Right.
That people that need structure, exactly.
Guidance. you know.
Yeah, they need a goal. They need to, and then because honestly, art, things like art, I think art is like animation should be like, being an animator should be like a blacksmith, like I was back then. Like I should be
Did
taught
you-
by another senior animator.
I was gonna say, didn't they have mentorships?
Yes,
and
apprenticeships.
apprenticeships? Yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
it should be more in an apprenticeship format. So for me, because art and like animation and a lot of these things are very subjective.
Yeah.
They're not an objective thing. Like
I mean, I feel like that's supposed to be the model of school, though. You're supposed to be taught by professionals, and obviously, you don't take an apprenticeship where you're under the tutelage of like one person. But I feel like that's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to take these courses with these professionals, and they're supposed to guide you, mentor. We just like mass marketed and mass produced it, where you don't really get that one-on-one.
So at least in animation, a lot. I had some very good teachers, and I had some very horrible teachers.
Yeah.
And you can tell which ones like understand the software and understand the program. They have their own studios on the side as well.
Right.
That's fine. But then you have those that go, oh, I couldn't make it in this industry. Let me just get a master's and teach.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of people.
Right.
So those
Especially
ones
at your school.
are relatively useless. Well, but I also had great technical teachers too.
Yeah.
And I still talk to some of them.
Yeah.
And we bounce work off each other and stuff. So it depends. Yes, your minds may vary when it comes to education.
Right.
Now, what I forgot what I was going. Oh yeah, so what I did is that once I did that, once I finished doing that, like finishing, we sent the test renders right to them,
Mhm.
right, and then they went, and the first thing they said was, "This is fantastic. We've spent 2 years finding this look."
Yeah, that little pause.
The
was-
moment
holding
they
my
saw
breath
it, they
there.
just went. We've been looking for this exact thing for 2 years, and we haven't found a studio to execute it.
Well, look
the
at
way
that.
We wanted it.
That's
And
the
then
thing.
they gave us the job.
That confidence that Tiago had to give you that opportunity in the first place, and you even learned new skills from that, and you grew
Yeah, no,
from there.
and then now we realize, and the best thing is we found how cost effective it is. So now we're like, oh, we can use these techniques and these other things, not look like the show we made for them, but use the same techniques and the same things to make our own show, to make our own kid show. So now we're already using some of those things that we built in house to to benefit our own projects, which is great. And that project was great and fantastic. And we were supposed to be working on other things, but the whole virus strike happened, the shutdown and all the other things. So,
Another thing is too, you kind of alluded to the progression and adapting to new technologies and new necessities. Like you had to learn to code after the fact. And going back to what you said about school, is the opportunities and the access to certain resources has grown infinitely. So I think more and more formal education has to kind of find how it fits that need, because like you said, with not to over like give credit to, but with AI and with YouTube and with search engines and a lot of software that's easily accessible, even if it's not that I'm a big fan of the subscription model, but like these expensive programs that now it's like a little bit at a time rather than like hundreds of dollars dropping them at once. Like there's ways to figure this out for yourself in ways that maybe like 10 years ago there wasn't.
And as an artist, the best thing, like if you're like a driven artist and and you really want to grow and get really good at what you do, nothing is better than trial by fire.
Yeah.
You go, I'll take the job. Even if you don't know anything. I've done that so many times. I'll take the job. I'll figure it out. I don't care if it takes 3 times longer than I'm getting paid for.
Yeah.
Because nothing is more important than the skill sets you learn from the project.
Yeah. So speaking to that, I want to talk a little bit about the trends in animation that we see emerging. What are some of the things? And I think Gabe, I guess we'll start with the big one. Gabe mentioned artificial intelligence and its use in animation. Not to be confused with the Art Institute.
And feel free to bury Coca-Cola and Secret Invasion and...
I believe AI is an amazing, phenomenal, fantastic, one of the best things to ever exist tool.
As a tool.
And it's a horrible, atrocious, put that in the gutter final product.
Mm-hmm.
And we use AI for a lot of things, but only as a reference point. For example, sometimes we would use let's say we need to do a certain shot, right? So because we've done music videos for this YouTube group called Your Favorite Martian, right?
My Favorite Martian?
It's called Your Favorite Martian. They're very popular.
Marvin is my favorite Martian. It's called Marvin?
No. So
Matt Damon is my favorite Martian.
That's true.
Marvin is my favorite Martian though too also.
Not Matt Damon.
No.
Okay.
He's not really a Martian. He just went to Mars.
The name of the movie is called The Martian. He lived there. He's a Martian.
I got mad at that movie because I thought a Martian was going to come out and they never did.
Well, you know what?
It was called The Martian. And I'm like, oh, there's only a human here. Why?
Well, you know what? You're going to love Ryan Gosling in Project Hail Mary. Remember that, okay?
Whatever that movie is, I'll watch it now.
Watch it. You're going to love it.
Is it out already?
It's this year, but it's just like The Martian, but there's a Martian. So
yes.
You're going to love it. All
right. So what would happen is that we want to do certain shots at certain angles. So what we do is that instead of like, since we're doing the project, we do these projects in house. We wanted to get a certain perspective, a certain look, right? So what we did is that we would use like the image generation, just to get a basic like like in one of the shots it was like they were going up to an attic. This father was going up to an attic and he was supposed to look all scary and stuff. Right? We're like, okay, how should we have that? What perspective should we look? So we would like use like, okay, this we would use the image generation to just look at it and be like, all right, that can work. That might not work. All right, I could use this perspective. Okay, the beep, because you're gonna just draw and draw.
Yeah, you're just gonna sketch, throw it away, sketch, throw it away.
So I just use it just as a reference point. Like, perfect. And then we draw it.
Pre-production.
Yeah.
Right?
And then we just draw it. But we don't use it as concept. We don't use it for any legitimate work. We just use it as a reference.
You're not going to storyboard it, but you're going to use it to come up with the ideas that eventually end up on your storyboard.
Exactly. So instead of, I'm going to Google an image to see what this is. No, I'll create I'll just image generate exactly what I'm looking for. All right. Gives me an inspiration, kind of like, okay, I think I know what I can do with, and then from there execute the art.
how do you feel about studios that do use it for pre-production steps, but then don't in the final product? Like doing something like instead of getting a storyboard artist, generating a storyboard and then using that like as your reference point.
I think that's crap.
Okay, why? What's the difference there?
I'll give you the difference. Storyboards is literally the skeleton. It's literally the skeleton and the organs of the entire project. There was AI when it comes. I've seen AI storyboards. They suck.
Right, because
Okay, they don't. They put stuff in, like, and they give you like it's all basic.
yeah, because it can't think. It can't
Yeah.
really logic.
It'll
Can't
give you
reason.
it'll spews out basic storyboards.
Yeah.
There's no it doesn't understand it's not gonna keep in mind
It
the
has no
root of
nuance.
threes or or it's not gonna keep in mind certain angles of perspective or breaking certain things.
It will contain errors, like for sure.
Yeah,
Right.
it would just be whatever. So I when it comes to storyboard artists, I feel that storyboard artists have to the good storyboard artists know how to express and how to tell a story visually, in the sense that it's not because when you're telling a story, right? There has to have like that human factor to it. It's not like you're doing like a one of those ads or like one of those what do you call it? Those like those stick figure drawing ads that they always do, or like those information type things.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you could storyboard those with the AI. This is basic. But when you're doing storytelling, no, you need human hands need to, they put their input into it because it feels natural. When people like Coca-Cola and people like
So you've seen the Coca-Cola commercial, right?
crap,
Yeah.
it's
But okay, so if the artists know this and you're layman, like everyday consumer, me, Gabe, right? We know this. What is giving these companies the belief that they can literally generate a final product?
shareholders. I'm sorry, but to be fair, if you want me to be candid, a lot of the crap that we're dealing with the AI taking over, like being final product stuff, the rehashing of multiple shows, all this stuff is just shareholders getting greedy and trying to bring up the bottom line and trying to raise profits for them while screwing everyone over and forcing the consumer to just consume garbage.
Yeah.
That is literally the only issue.
But the quality is so clearly absent there. How are they not aware that
They don't care.
They don't care.
They assume that it's coming out, you're gonna watch it, because what else are you gonna watch?
At the end of the day, there's so many. I feel like with streaming, there's so much that it's just at this point, it's just a matter of getting people. Like somebody's gonna watch it. You're putting something out there.
Okay, but also for marketing, like the Coca-Cola commercial, for example, like Coca-Cola commercials, Coca-Cola's like the king of commercials.
I don't understand that.
And it's like whether it's the panda, or it's Santa, or it's whatever. Like warm feelings is their bread and butter, and like how do they not know that no one feels anything?
I honestly believe that the Coca-Cola one is interesting because from what I believe may have happened with it, I'm not sure. I can't say anything.
Right.
But it seems like it's just, AI is the new trend. Cool. Execs go, let's do an AI commercial because it's the new trend and it's cool.
Okay, who's doing it though? Are they hiring artists to use the AI? Or?
Oh no, yeah, they have. Well, they would hire all of these companies use agencies,
Right.
so the agencies would hire the people.
And this is like
for that type of
Coca-Cola being like, "Hey guys, we need you to use artificial intelligence to make this commercial."
No, it can go one of two ways. Either the agency goes and pitches the idea of making AI and making it look how awesome and cool and look how popular AI is and look how everything is being AI and it's super cool. We should do this. And then they go, cool. Or someone goes, hey, we need a new commercial. We should do AI.
Yeah.
Then this agency goes, okay.
Do they have to disclose whether it's used with artificial intelligence?
No, they don't. That's actually another issue. You can't. you don't need to disclose what is AI or what is not AI. And that's actually happening a lot in like Spotify with music. A lot of that Spotify is making their own AI generated crap to not have to pay royalties to people that are actually making music. It's actually a huge issue going on right now.
So with the Coca-Cola commercial, not to harp too much on this project specifically, like they do disclose. Is that like
that's less bad?
Yeah,
much less bad.
But what is their motivation? And again, I know obviously we don't know. This is just speculation. But what do you think their motivation is? Is that like ethical, like virtue signaling, like, oh look, we're being upfront about it, or do you think they're genuinely proud that they made this commercial with artificial intelligence?
I am a believer that if you want to make final products with AI, like if you want AI produce final products, and you specify it, that's fine. Because there are some people that like AI. There's some people that. A lot of people, there's a huge push of not wanting it because it's why would I want just something that a computer made? You know, that's what a lot of people view. Like, why do I want to see something that a computer made? So, but there are some people that are like, oh no, it's cool, I like it. Like people send me AI stuff all the time. I'm like, please stop sending me this. I don't want to see any of this. I don't care how the Justice League would look in the 1950s. I don't care. I don't need to see. I don't need to see Star Wars in a bodega, bro. Stop it. Like I don't care for any of this.
I kind of use AI.
It makes me gross.
I use AI to make my own memes. Like we'll make a joke in a conversation, and I'll send like an artificially produced picture.
That's fine. You already know.
Fun of it.
It's super obvious that it's artificially produced, so that's fine. You're not using it as a.
You're not passing it as your own work.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's now the AI is getting really scary, really good because I've seen some animation, some like 3D, they're even needing more into like some 2D stuff now lately. Yeah. And I'm like, this is gonna take a bunch of people's jobs. Yeah. It's already taking it was supposed to take a bunch of writers' jobs, but they did the strike. And now, if they ever have to work with in the contracts, if they ever have to work with AI, with an AI script and stuff, and have to rewrite and other stuff, it's considered their own, and they get the same royalty rights.
Interesting.
So that's one thing that they fought against. Same thing with voice acting. Voice acting, you can't do it, even though they themselves just said, oh yeah, we can license voice actors for AI. So now, the voice actors that end up getting AI still have to get paid for their likeness. Things like that. So there's certain protections, certain unions and stuff in the industry are working to keep it safer. But I feel bad for like junior copywriters and stuff because ChatGPT does a pretty decent job as like I wouldn't say a senior copywriter. Senior copywriters are important still, but I feel bad because to get to a senior copywriter position, you need to practice. You have to be a junior copywriter. But if that job gets taken away, how are you ever gonna be a senior copywriter? Those are the issues. Those are the catch-22s that might start happening. Yeah. With
maybe like instead of a jury like sketch, like a courtroom sketch artist, like you just need to literally hire a guy to just press a button and like sketch up the pictures of what's going on or whatever. Like I'm pretty sure you can automate so many of these like artistic jobs. We don't really see the everyday levels of art. I'm going back all the way to last week when you mentioned like some of the experience that you had. You talked about medical animation, and I didn't get a chance to ask about that then, so I'm just going to kind of circle back. What is medical animation? What is?
Oh, medical animation is just animation used for medical purposes. For example, I'll give you an example. Like I worked on a project one time. It was for DARPA. It was a training dummy that they made to practice medical procedures in the field. So they have a dummy, and in the dummy there was a program, and then you'd see the 3D graphics of the character and how it would do, and what you're doing physically, how it would affect the and then it gives you a whole breakdown. So there's all different types of things. Also, there's also I saw this trend that exists now that you can like scan you wear this bodysuit. And there's like these apps that you scan, like you take a photo of yourself, and based on the bodysuit, the app would make a 3D representation of you and would tell you where you can lose weight and how to lose the fat from certain body parts and stuff. Yeah. They have
Google Body coming 2026.
So they do. So it's used for a lot of those things, explaining like how certain how certain diseases affect the body, or how certain medicines, will affect the body and fix it. Have you ever seen those like little like cells that go and they attach to something and disintegrate. That's all medical animation.
I see.
It's just for the medical field. Just animation done for the medical field, mainly for learning.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that, there's so many opportunities out there to work in even other industries. A lot of times when you're growing up trying to choose a career, you don't really see those opportunities. The commercial aspects or even the utilities of animation and other fields.
That's why I love animation. You literally can work in any industry. There's a place for what you want to do.
And you can work from home.
I don't like working from home personally.
Yeah. Okay. So explain that. Well, what about that dynamic? Working from home, working in office as an animator.
The way we personally like doing things is we like to do all creative decision making and all creative in-house, in person, because nothing is better than direct communication and being able to look at the work being done while it's being done.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get quicker feedback and more efficiency. But when it comes to the production side, like producing, animate, you don't necessarily the grind, like the just the work. Yeah, working remote is fine. Like it works. I've done it. I would sometimes I'm working on an animation and I'll work from home, being like, oh, I got some stuff I have to do. I'm gonna work from home today, and then I'll just log in, download my files, work on it. And then because it's the deadline's like in 3 days. And the next day I get back to the studio, I'm like, oh, look, what could we do to adjust this? How does this look? All that stuff. But any creative decisions, we like to sit down. If we need a storyboard, we like to storyboard in like actual place. Like we like that.
And you do that like by hand or digitally?
Well, digitally, we use Cintiqs. Which, you want to hear something hilarious?
Sure.
There was some controversy last year because Wacom, which they're the ones that create the drawing tablets and Cintiqs, which is like what everyone uses, industry standard, because they're the best.
This is what? Oh, Wacom?
Yeah, Wacom. Yeah.
Wacom.
So
Wacom.
I don't know. I just say Wacom.
Wacom sounds better than Wacom because Wacom sounds like Waco, and then you think about a bunch of nut jobs shooting up. Anyways, continue.
Okay. Well, depending on how this conversation goes, they might be related.
Okay.
So in Wacom, they came out with an ad last year. I believe it was last year. I'm sure it wasn't the year before. I don't know. All the years are 1 year for the last 5 years. So one long year. So recently, they came out with an ad for the new drawing tablets, right? The very expensive, like $2,000, $3,000, top of the line, right?
I don't like where I think the story is going. Yes, continue.
Right. So, mind you, this is they make a product for artists to make art, and they somehow put AI art in the ad. Why? How are you trying to promote your tablet for an artist to spend thousands of dollars for a product that they're gonna not have a job because you didn't hire one to do the art on your ad?
Same thing as Waco. See,
it made no sense.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, sorry, we didn't mean it. That wasn't supposed to be there." Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Disney World recently came under fire because some of the interiors, they redecorated some of the interiors in some of the ride attractions, and there was AI art used to kind of decorate, and it was like the Imagineers have lost their imagination, and then there was a whole big discussion. Oh, the Imagineers actually don't do the interior decorating; they just
interior designers
right. Exactly. But
the interior designers are the ones that lost.
Yeah. So they tore them down too. They took them out.
Good.
And then I think they replaced some. They're probably gonna replace all the art, but there's just like empty space where AI art was hanging.
I don't know what it is, but AI art, just you look at it, and it just looks so soulless.
It doesn't have a soul. I mean, what you don't know what it is. It's that it doesn't have a soul. The artist, there's no artist.
There's no emotion that comes out. You can tell neither. Yeah, sure, you make it hyper realistic, and you might not tell if it's a person or not.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, but that's not really art. This is like
fake photography.
Yeah,
fake photography.
Well, all of your phones,
but even
all your phones use AI, and everything that you take a photo with on your iPhone, that's all AI.
Right, but as tool set to adjust but for example, a fake photo is now no longer a photo.
No,
because it hasn't photographed anything.
But also not art.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
it can't be like photographic art.
AI,
but it also can't be photography at all because it didn't take anything. The thing doesn't exist in real life.
There was no light absorbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, really quick before we wrap up, any other trends you see in animation?
Any other trends I see in animation lately?
Gabe, maybe you have some.
Not necessarily trends. I was just gonna ask if you had any advice for people that are thinking about getting into this field.
Okay.
Don't choose be a smart person and have a career that actually makes money. But if you want to be stubborn like me and you not care and go through the hardships, but enjoy the final products that you create and have people enjoy the final products you create, I would say the best thing to do is, which is actually a problem I don't do because I am not a very social media person, is put your out there. And a lot of people have gotten picked up putting the stuff on social media, Instagram, TikTok if it still exists.
This is with us,
YouTube.
as a family.
Yeah, this is a
YouTube. YouTube is very popular. Animation. There's been a recent influx of animation being picked up from YouTube. Digital Circus from Netflix, they were picked up and they were originally a YouTube channel. They did one episode. They got like 48 million views. Instant pickup on Netflix.
Yeah.
Same thing with Has-Been Hotel. Has-Been Hotel was crowdfunded. She broke the mold. The creator broke the mold. I forgot her name. She didn't follow the industry or anything. She wanted to make what she did. She got funding for it. Came out number one of the top 10 things on Amazon this year. Huge following.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll even give shout outs to Flimpo Studios, which is an interesting new group of very young recently graduated kids that opened their own studio, and they've been showing process of animation on TikTok, and they've gotten a pretty good following. They're also crowdfunded through Patreon and
TikTok. Oh, we missed that.
And they do. Yeah, I'm not. Like I said, I'm awful with social media. So we should be having more presence ourselves as a studio. It's just very difficult because I don't like people.
And not only
like,
that,
in that sense, like I just don't like social media.
It's first of all, it's like emotional.
It's not my generation.
Yeah, it's emotionally like draining and exhausting, but also it requires that's like a full-time job too. Like just interacting with social media.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about growing the user base on this show before when we set you up to come on the show, and we were talking about that. It's like that's probably the biggest obstacle. We're like, do it, put it out there, but like it's hard for us to do it.
Yeah.
But we solved that problem today because now we've got the Henry Danger bump, right? From Jonatan for coming on the show and helping us explore this topic for the past 2 weeks. So I don't know if you want to do another pitch, your studio, Henry Danger, whatever it is that you want. Plug.
Yes. Team Legend Studios. We are a legendary studio of legends, and follow us on Instagram and YouTube. Team Legend Studios.
All right. Okay, so thank you so much once again for coming and taking the time. And for the rest of you listening or watching at home, may you have a legendary week of legend.
And remember, anyone can be a legend. Just some are more legend than legend.
I am legend.
Moo.